Greetings and welcome to the Prime Directive. I'm your host, Jefficho. My co-host, well, Chris isn't here. We couldn't get together. We tried doing a video chat, and this is as far as I got. I got his initial thoughts.
Initial thoughts? I liked it. There's a couple weird moments. Obvious. I don't know about obviously, but as usual, I have some questions. There's some observations, but I think overall, yes. I guess I'll jump into the end just a little bit because I think this is my big point. But I am both very impressed because this is a Picard show and very blue-balled that we didn't do the big Eater space battle at the end with Silver problem.
As you can tell, the audio didn't quite work out, so we'll have to get together later and do a full Season 1 review. Maybe we'll even bring in Counselor Sean. That'll be fun. So, let's review this episode 10 of Star Trek Picard.
Well, if you were dying, if you were terminally ill with an incurable disease and facing the remaining few days of your life in pain, wouldn't you come to look on death as a release?
This episode starts out with a crash cube, Narek running, and then we see Seven and Elnor just sitting around, both saying, "Oh, I don't really have a place to belong." I call it bullshit. Janeway would have totally given you a position in Starfleet. You just chose not to do it. And then we see Narek meeting up with his sister, hiding around the Borg cube, sneaking around and stuff.
Have you found them?
Yes, they're all here.
Have you fucked any of them?
Not yet.
Killed any?
One.
I mean, I laughed at the conversation. It was pretty funny, and Narek's delivery was pretty well done, but swear words in Star Trek just doesn't work for me, in my opinion. It just doesn't make sense that all of a sudden it's around. You can say it was because it was on cable before they didn't do it, but what the is a Romulan swearing for? Saying fuck? Seriously? Doesn't make any sense. Well, moving along, we get Picard and Soji talking. You know, Picard's doing his usual "I need a third option" speech, and then Rios and Raffi are on the ship using that magical device, and it just use your imagination, fixes the ship. Not too long after, Narek is throwing rocks at the ship, which I thought was funny because Rios is like, "I know that sound. People throwing rocks at your ship before." And then Elnor shows up and he's like, "We should kill him," but they sit down and have a chat. It's all good. And then they go outside later and they make a fire so they can tell campfire stories about how this all happened before. Battlestar Galactica much? Seriously, guys. This whole plot has been taken from other things, like Mass Effect. Like, come on.
You know about the 1,000 days of pain. You know the streets will be slick with entrails of half-devoured corpses.
No, we did not know any of that.
You really believe this is a prophecy?
I believe it's history.
Then we get the Son of Soon talking to Agnes and thanking her for helping him out with the body. And then she makes up this thing that Bruce told her that he's great at decoding things. Like, when did you and Bruce ever get a chance to talk about him? You didn't even know he existed before. So, and then she manages to sneak out and retrieve an eye without doing it graphically, as Chris pointed out to me. It's the first time they've pulled out an eye without doing it too graphically. And she goes and rescues Picard, but he's just like, are you here to kill me this time?
We have to hurry.
What is this?
I'm busting you out. I honestly thought I was the worst secret agent ever, but I'm starting to believe I may have a gift.
Picard and Agnes get to the ship because the other guys are off enacting their plan. And
You play? Oh, love the game.
And he starts giving her a speech about AIs are being led by these two hermits, that they're the only role models they had, the only teachers, and fear is a poor teacher. It's a really good speech, I thought. And then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna head out," and so Picard goes to pilot the ship, and she's like, "Make it so." I'm like, you don't say that. I fingered my TV. I was just like, no, you're just throwing in lines here because it's from our old show. Didn't make any sense. Later down on the planet, we see that Son of Soon deactivates Sexy Soji because he figured out she was the one that killed the girl.
I wanted to return this to you. I thought I taught you better than this.
Seven then finds Narissa sneaking around the Borg cube and they have a cat fight and she kicks her off into this big empty void. Chris thinks that she probably was transported out of there. I hope so, because otherwise you killed one of my incest siblings.
This is for you.
Then the Romulan ships show up and Commodore O, who's now being called General, which is an honorary rank in the Romulan Empire, she decides to sterilize number 5 on the planet, but she doesn't even fire a shot. She's a true Commodore with no action. I tell you, because there's other times she could have fired shots in this episode, and she didn't. The only time she did was shoot at some holographic ships, of which, let's get to that. Agnes is like, let's do a Picard maneuver as we're flying around trying to stop O from this, invasion. Well, they didn't do a Picard maneuver. Falsifying warp signatures and having holographic ships, that's more of a Riker Worf thing when they're doing their combat simulation thing. So totally not the Picard maneuver.
Approaching fast from astern. What the? He came out of nowhere, sir.
Rings about ensign, maximum shields. Full weapon systems.
Disengage, modified.
Lock on, open a hailing frequency.
I can't, sir. There's nothing there.
And then somehow, like, you know, they still survive the onslaught of Romulan fire. And then Federation ships show up, and they all look the same. You can try to buttercoat this all you want and be like, oh, these are the strongest ones and they're at my back. That's what Riker says, but no, you just cheaped out and didn't want to make a lot of other ships. Come on. There's no way that you just had this one fleet just waiting to show up. Seriously, guys. Come on. You're better than this. There's so many awesome starship designs that you could be doing, and this is all you show me. However, I will say, seeing Riker on command as a captain on a bridge was amazing. And, like, I felt the situation was completely under control at that point. Nobody messes with Riker. Riker can deal with anything.
Right now, I'm on the bridge of the toughest, fastest, most powerful ship Starfleet has ever put into service. Nothing would make me happier than you giving me an excuse to kick your treacherous Talsiar ass.
And then, like, the Commodore just steps down. I mean, Picard does manage to message them. He has a conversation with Soji, and he's like, you know, I'm sacrificing myself for you. And he's starting to feel his neuromatic syndrome. I mean, there's 250 Romulan ships, and they're, like, hell-bent on this thing, of which, if there's that many ships, like, why are there homeless Romulans? Like, seriously, put them to work. Have them join. Have them build ships for you so that you can do this shit. But, like, they don't deal with it because there's a handful of Starfleet ships there. Like, this is your mission in life, is to stop AI, and you just walk away from it, and it seems kind of flimsy. Your resolve is weak. I'm just gonna say that. Soji had center signal, which is actually more of like a big beacon that just opened up this portal, which is kind of the opposite of what they were telling us it was. And later we see these like kind of tentacle creatures, like mechanical tentacle AI that's gonna come out. And Picard has to give a speech, and he's dying, he's getting his headaches. Soji eventually shuts it down, which stops him from coming in. But you know what? If they left this universe to go into whatever universe they're in, they should be able to find their own way back and still deal with this. So this threat that they're going to ignore the next several seasons is out there and is hanging over us. Like, they could come in, wipe out all organic life anytime they want. And they know that the AI are in trouble because they sent the signal. They didn't be like, no, thanks, sorry, we don't want your help. No, they sent for the help, so that threat's always going to be there, and it's never going to stop, but they're always going to ignore it. I bet you that. And then Picard gets a call from Riker, which was sweet.
You sent an SOS. I asked for temporary reassignment. Just because I didn't try to talk you out of it didn't mean I was going to let you go it alone. I'm supposed to sit around in the woods making pizza while you have all the fun?
He's just like, oh, Admiral, you've got this under control, and we're out of here. And they all leave, every single ship. Like, yeah, the Romulans left, but how do you know they're not going to double back, wipe everybody out? And even then, why would you all leave? And seconds later, Picard dies. He literally dies. Just before he dies, he looks up and he sees Eleanor, and he's just like, what are you doing here? I thought you left my show. But he didn't. And then everybody's sad that he's dead. And Eleanor's hanging out with Raffi. And she's like, cry, little Romulan boy. And then Seven's having drinks with Rios. And then Picard wakes up in this simulation with Data, which was actually a pretty cool scene because they're talking about like how he never got to say goodbye to him, and how he sacrificed himself and he wished he had more time with him and Nemesis.
If you ever have dreams about me.
I dream about you all the time.
Interesting. I wonder, what would Dr. Freud say?
And Data wants him to like delete his programming because he feels if he dies, then his life has meaning. Why not just transfer, like, his programming is the same as Picard, it sounds like. Like, why not just build him an android body so Data could come back, or even a holographic life form of some sort? Like, you had options, and you just killed off Brent Spiner. If you wanted to, you could have come up with an older body, just like the son of Soon, and he could have inhabited that, and we could have had him on the show all the time. But no, you do that with Picard, which I thought was pretty cheap because, you know, they're never really going to talk about it that much going forward. Nobody talks about it in this. He's in an android body. Like, they're like, oh, you're gonna die when you die, like, normally. Why not give him extra years? Whatever, he said that too.
I wouldn't have minded. Another 10? 20?
You took something that could have been really cool and you just kind of like made it the exact same way. Like, what was the point of killing him? No point in killing him. Why rush this neuromatic disease? Like, it could have been something that happened throughout the years, throughout the seasons, but they just rushed it. Let's kill him off in season 1, and then we'll put him in an android body for the other seasons, but it's going to be identical. He's not even going to have hair. I have a lot of issues with this. So Picard unplugs Data. It's a bit of a sad scene because you're killing off this character we've known for so long, but like, what about Geordi? They were best friends. How come he doesn't get any say in this? I know he was on set. We saw him. And then we see Agnes, and she's kissing Rios. Like, seriously, she killed the dude that she loved last. Really, you want to be next? You could do better, Rios. You could do better. I mean, we've seen your soccer skills. You've got game. And then Raffi and Seven are holding hands. Like, that's some connection thing that they're going to have. Like, everybody's, like, in a happier place now, but their Raffi is having another drink. Like, I thought she only drank and, like, did her drugs because she was so depressed because her life fell apart because she was torn from her kid and stuff when she was working with Picard. But, no, like, that's not what a recovering addict does. Just go right back to the booze. And then Soji and Elnor are just going to tag along because they got nothing better to do. They'd like to explore. But what does their ship even do? We've never really established what Rios does. Is he like a smuggler of some sort? That's kind of the vibe that we've gotten. So they're going to go off on some smuggling adventures. Picard's an explorer. We know this. It's been established. I just don't feel like the character of Picard from TNG is connecting with the character in this the same way. And what happened to Narek? He kind of was on the right side. In fact, even Commodore O, they were all kind of doing the right thing to stop this AI from wiping out organic life. Like, they weren't in the wrong in the end. Like, their methods were wrong, for sure, but like, the threat is not wrong, and it's still out there, obviously. And then they lift the ban on AI, which is a good thing because then Picard wouldn't exist. But like, I'm just thinking back to Riker's kid. Like, you let him die because he needed parts. He needed like some AI cure, and you wouldn't let him do that. He wasn't asking to turn his kid into an AI. Like,
completely curable. You just have to culture the infected cells. By the time Thad came down with MN, there were no active positronic matrices, and no one was allowed to develop new ones.
I don't think Starfleet makes any sense, and the fact that we're going to tie this up in a little bow at the end, just very discouraging storytelling. So in the end, I apologize. Chris should be here to counteract any negativity that I'm throwing your way, because Chris loved it. Chris enjoyed it quite a lot. He says there's some flaws, but, you know, overall, he enjoyed it. And overall, I kind of enjoyed talking about it. I love having some Star Trek on TV to talk about. Patrick Stewart is just an awesome actor. I enjoy watching Patrick Stewart.
Now that's the kind of talk that I like. But one last thing. I need proof that my bounty is alive. I need to see Maddox.
And every time we jump back into some nostalgia, I was on board. I was just like, oh, this warms the hearts of TNG lovers, and I am one of those. But the overall story just didn't quite work for me. I can't believe, like, this is the story that they chose to tell. This is the one that they got Picard on board to come back for, which is just kind of weird. Like, it doesn't make as much sense to me that, like, he's all like, oh yeah, we're gonna come back with this big awesome story. What did we learn? What did we learn about this crew? I don't feel we developed a lot of people that much. And then again, Agnes is a killer. Seriously, like, she was not manipulated. She was just shown like an inevitable future. So you should kill this person because this could happen. Like, no, that's not what rational people do. Sorry, Agnes is psychotic, get rid of her. There's just some relationships that just, I don't buy. Like, Raffi just could call him JL like 5 times in a conversation, in one conversation. Don't listen, JL, I'm sorry, JL. JL, like, nobody does that. Nobody talks like that. And then Rios, Rios is awesome. Rios is probably the high point. Question though, where were all the holograms? When Picard was dying, where's EMH? Where's the pilot one when Picard was having trouble piloting? Where were any of the There were no other holograms there when they popped up every other time. You can't say it was just because Rios was on the ship, because it popped up before when Agnes was there and she was off in Maddox. If Chris was here, I wonder what his final thoughts would be.
Yeah, right now I'm landing on, I'm happy that this ended with Picard just diplomacying his way out of this. For them to be able to do last week, that I commented on, I was like, fuck, we're getting a fleet battle out of this. It's probably going to be awesome, but it's also probably going to be not Picard. And it was Picard. You know, this is sort of ended like an episode of TNG probably would. So we talked our way down. We diplomacy. We used the better parts of humanity. We trusted people. We put our faith in people, and we were rewarded for that. And that's kind of what I wanted out of this. So I think I'm overall going to be pretty positive on this episode and on the season. Yes, there are some little bits and shits that I don't like. Some of the plot doesn't make too much sense in some ways, but there's room to expand on this. We're going to completely ignore the fact that we can just make golems and everyone's immortal now. We are never going to discuss that again, which is Star Trek tradition. So, okay.
I know, this just sounds nothing but negative. And you know whose fault that is? Chris's fault for not being here and not reining me in when I get too negative and ramble a lot. But, you know, maybe the next time when Chris is here, I'll sound more rational. I'll give the show another watch. I'll actually be able to run through it and not have to wait week to week for each thing and see if it makes more coherent sense to me at that point. But we'll see. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you did.
Good job.
Indeed.
And if that shit was not recording audio, I refuse to use it.
Excellent. I'll just put your image up and I'll be like,
I agree with everything you said, Jeff.
Oh boy, you've already heard.